Barbara Campbell, host of Television BBTV. And today I'm coming to you from Barbara Campbell, NYC Design Studio. And I have a special guest. He made time to be here. We got Lloyd Kimbridge, and he's from Brooklyn, and he's going to be on the show as you see him here. I'm going to welcome him right now. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here, Lloyd.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Yeah. I'm glad you made it out to Brooklyn. Now, I want to share with you, our followers, a bit about Lloyd. Lloyd grew up in Brownsville, correct?
Correct.
And how long have you been there?
Well, I currently live in Crown Heights. I was born and raised in Brownsville, so I was there until I was about 19 years old. Okay. I'm not going to tell you how old I am today.
Okay, young. Now, let me tell you, what was it like growing up in Brownsville? Has it changed since?
Yeah, so growing up in Brownsville, like that was all that I knew. So I was like one of those kind of sheltered church kids, super into school. And had a good family structure, but also saw like all of the extraness that kind of happened in the neighborhood as well. But it still has a lot of the those things that you would associate with Brownsville.
Okay.
So I'm not being specific, okay. But it has come a long way since. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome to Crown Heights, and I'm going to ask you also. I see that you have done work with Brooklyn Children Museum, and the wonderful museum is just like a few blocks from here.
Yeah.
So, what did your company do for them? But before I get started with that question, tell me a little bit about you and what you do. And behind me, we have the Progress Playbook. Tell us a bit about you and what you're doing.
Awesome. So like I said earlier, like I grew up in Brownsville, Brooklyn, and like growing up in Brownsville, I always wanted to start a business as a young person. I remember being like 10 years old and saying I wanted to start a company. 10 years old, which is kind of cool, right?
You want to start young.
Start them young. But I always lacked like the resources or the confidence. I was afraid. So I had like this book of ideas. And the dream to like want to start my own business had never died. So I wound up, going to NYU, working for the city government. I was a banker for a little bit, and I still wanted to start my own company. So eventually I jumped off the ledge and started my own company about 4 years ago, Progress Playbook, which is a business training and learning platform to teach other people and equip them with the resources necessary to be able to start, operate, and kind of grow their businesses, but on a local level.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned that you started at Chase.
I did.
And what title were you doing there? What type of work?
So I started out as a credit analyst for apparel, textile, and jewelry companies. I was a lender, lending money to like those industries.
Okay, we're going to talk about that later. Now, in NYU?
I went to NYU, studied economics, minored in Spanish. Do not speak Spanish today, but I tried.
Un poquito español.
I tried. It was fun. And just took that social science kind of degree and leveraged that to be able to do some of the work that I'm doing now.
So now getting back to Progress Playbook and teaching folks about entrepreneurship and business. Right now I see like the struggle is real. Like starting a business, many people are thinking about starting a business.
Yeah.
Okay. What word of advice do you have or tip when starting a business or considering a business, or how does your company handle that?
Support, yeah. So we typically work with like government agencies, nonprofits, and corporations. Like those are our clients. So they hire us to design kind of innovative programs to support the people that they serve. So it's very customized. So we have a program, for example, that we did with like City Harvest and SBS around like supporting bodegas to be able to help them to offer healthier foods to better like upgrade their stores and things like that. And then we have another program for youth where we do some work with the Brooklyn Children Museum and other organizations where we support them in being able to take their fresh and new ideas and be able to validate their concepts through pop-up shops. So those are just two different examples, but we have a lot more.
And I did see that you're working with the children, or or the teens, and you're creating pop-up shops, and they're selling their items, and you're teaching them about this whole entrepreneurship process.
Correct.
And moving forward, those that don't have this type of program available, how can they get a program like this available?
You have to call me.
Okay, you heard that. You got to call him, Lloyd.
Lloyd, CambridgeProgressPlaybook.com.
Okay.
Call us.
Okay, well, the plug got started early. But yes, now, in terms of just entrepreneurship, because that's a big word right now. And people are new to it. And like you said, you were 10 years old, you wanted to start a business, and it's always been in you. So you're like this true entrepreneur. What are the 5 values? As I mentioned, I saw on your website that you have listed in terms of the Progress Playbook. What are your 5 values?
Yeah, so when you first start a business, I would say this to anyone. So the heart of your organization is your mission, which is your purpose, like why you do what you do. Okay. Then your vision, which is like your long-term projected future. So what type of transformation do you want the world to have because you chose to start your venture? And lastly, you have your values, which are your core kind of operating principles. So they pretty much tell you how you should think and how you should behave in terms of the different activities that you do in your business day to day.
Okay.
So some of our values are one, simplicity, right? So we think that entrepreneurship is hard enough. So how do we create programs and content that is simple? Thoughtfulness is another one. So like really being thoughtful and innovative in our approach in terms of how we customize a program and cater it to different audiences, right? So how you design a program for bodega owners, again, is very different from youth.
Right.
And it's different from someone that maybe had a restaurant or a hair salon or whatever it is. So we try to customize it based on a group. We are also big into celebration, right? So a lot of entrepreneurs are, myself included, on the grind, but we forget sometimes to celebrate our progress, celebrate our achievements.
So how do you do that in celebrating? It's like, what does that mean? Like, what's the
What does
visual?
that look like?
I'm an artist, so it's like,
Yeah.
what's the visual of celebrating?
So celebration, so right now we're doing a program. We have an incubator that we're creating in Red Hook. Well, we're piloting the program in certain neighborhoods, Red Hook being one of them. So part of that program is funded by the mayor's office, and essentially we are funding their startup cost.
Okay.
But it's certain business milestones that they have to meet in order so that they can essentially legitimize their business.
Okay.
So typically in business, like after you go through that mission, vision, and values piece, then you have a concept. You want to first validate your concept, meaning that you want to test it out to see if this is something that people actually want.
Right.
Right?
Because sometimes, even like when you're starting a business, you got to test it out to see if there's any
a market for it.
Yes.
The
Market.
customers want it.
Yes.
So that after you do that part, then you legitimize it, right? So creating the LLC, creating your website, your branding. Because some people will do like, let me do my LLC first and all those other things, and then never
It doesn't
start the business
yes.
or, their concept sucks.
Yes. You got to look at everything.
So the concept, then the concept that you validate, then you legitimize it, and then you grow it. But a part of this process in celebration is things like a dinner party, for example, that we're doing, right? So like over dinner with the different advisors, you invite your friends and your family, and we just have a dinner party.
So are you like
to
brainstorming
celebrate.
at this point, or just pretty much?
Brainstorming for what? The celebration piece?
Right. I mean, when you have all these people gathered in there, is there any conversation happening about business at that time?
It's more of like a celebration of your achievement. So you spent the last several weeks or months or years kind of, making this thing happen. Now let's, highlight that and celebrate it in front of your peers, your family, et cetera, et cetera.
So I want to ask you, so one of the things I talked about, how can entrepreneurs get started? Best thing is to reach out to your company. So how do people connect with you in reaching out? If they're interested in starting a business or growing their business or just taking their idea to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, in New York City or in Brooklyn, the ecosystem in terms of like being able to start and build a business is amazing. Like we have one of the best ecosystems, I think, in New York City. So you have funders, you have lenders, you have lawyers, and you have so much here, right? And Progress Playbook is one piece in that ecosystem to be able to support folks. Again, our website is progressplaybook.com, or our email is hello@progressplaybook.com, and people can reach out if they want to get connected into one of the programs, or they want to just have an advisory session. I had 2 this morning. I met with 2 entrepreneurs. One starting
you
up.
need that. These things are important to have.
Yeah, absolutely. So one starting a production studio and another one starting a similar education business, but it's around goal setting. So yeah.
And so, what are the top 3 tips that you can share for entrepreneurs right now in this economic times? Those who are considering starting, what are the 3 important things that they should just do so you can start to be successful in your journey?
Yeah, I mean, so it depends on if you're starting or if you're operating, but if we're talking about you have an idea, I think the number one thing, and it may sound cheesy, but it's so important, is mindset. So in business, typically you have 2 different problems in business. It's either a psychological problem, meaning mindset, or it's a technical problem, meaning that I don't have the skill to know how to do, for example, social media or QuickBooks. Typically, you can learn how to do the technical piece or find someone to do it. But typically what happens, which holds people back in business, is a mindset. It's emotions. It's I'm not good enough. It's a scarcity mindset.
So where do they get that to get fixed?
Where do we fix that?
So we can have a good centered plan and your mindset to be right on success and growing your business.
Yeah. There's different strategies and different things work for different people. I've interviewed a ton of entrepreneurs myself in New York City. Some people journal. Some people have mantras. For myself, some people pray, some people walk, some people, so you just need to have...
Just find something that's going to work.
Right, exactly.
Keep your mind positive. Write it down. Every idea is a good idea. Now, I want to say thank you for being so informative and sharing here today. But I want to ask you my last question. It's my famous question. I always ask people, what do you love about Brooklyn?
What do I love? Well, I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, number one. That's a great question. What do I love about Brooklyn? I always say that I would never, Brooklyn will always be home. It will always be my base. Well, one, my family is here, right? So I love that about Brooklyn. I think I love the grittiness, the hustle, you could be corporate, but at the same time you come home and you can be, what's the word I want to say?
You can be down.
Right, exactly. I know the word I want to say.
You're with the people, and you know how to be corporate, and also hang and be in your neighborhood and enjoy.
Exactly. So you have this dichotomy between, but you're still authentic in who you are completely, right? Yes. So I think I love that it's authentic. So that would be the word.
Okay.
Authenticity.
You heard it here first, everybody. I want to thank you once again, Lloyd, for being here, coming and sharing some knowledge with us. Everybody visit his website. We'll have that posted in his Instagram as well. Thank you so much, Lloyd.
Thank you. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Pleasure.
Thank you. All right, everybody, tune back for the next episode on Brooklyn Beauty Television, BBTV. TV host Barbara Campbell coming to you from Crown Heights, Brooklyn, New York with Lloyd Cambridge. Bye-bye. 3.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Cambridge from Progress Playbook. Today I'm going to be on Brooklyn Beauty TV.